Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze Polkadot and its token DOT. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. The price of DOT is at around $1.55. It's still, again, DOT has dropped quite a bit in terms of the market cap based ranking. It's still within top 50 cryptos by market cap. It's ranked number 32 spot. If you go to the historicals of this website over here, coinmarketcap.com, and check the historical snapshot of what the rank was, let's say 3 years ago. That would be a good point. Today, March 2026. Let's see how and where was DOT in March of 2023. So first week ending on March 5th, 2023, market cap based rank for Polkadot and its token DOT was number 12. So it was just outside of top 10 cryptos by market cap. Market cap was at around 7 billion. Price was $6. Now one bull run later, again for context, for you can check, even Cardano was at around 33 cents. Solana was at around $20. Today, if we go and check the current price of DOT and its relative position, Solana is at, or Sol token is at around $92. So essentially 4.5x of that $20 level. Cardano is more or less from the 33 cents, slightly down to 28 cents, but still within top 10 cryptos by market cap. Sol and ADA held better than DOT over here. DOT dropped 20 spots. Now it's number 32nd. Market cap is much lower than that 6 billion, almost half, less than half of that 2023 market cap prior to the 2024-2025 bull run. That is, price almost 1/3 of what it was. Tokenomics not that great. Again, max supply 2.1 billion, out of which 80% are released, which is, again, at this point it's a better outlook than in its history. But still, you can see there is a still divergence between what happens to the price and what happens to the market cap. Market cap holds better than the price. That's because all the time newer tokens are getting released. So this is the price chart, whereas the market cap, you can see when the lows over here in terms of price are much more pronounced than the lows in terms of the market cap. That's because market cap does not get affected by the release of newer tokens like price gets, because newer tokens dilute the unlocked tokens, dilute the total, the share of each token in that market cap. Again, not financial advice. Coming back to our own website, cryptoweeklies.com, this website, that's my website, tries to identify the decay and the diminished return based regression based valuation for DOT. Starting, the fair value of DOT has gone down with time. That means it's losing its value, and again, it's not a surprise. This pink line tries to identify what's the mathematically derived fair value using historical price action and regression functions to identify at what point the price action could, at what point the line could cut the price action into two halves, where the top half is overvalued and the bottom half is undervalued. The lower regression residual, one standard deviation lower than that fair value, where in the deep undervalued zone, that's where DOT was from February 2026 till about early March 2026. Now price has escaped that undervaluation zone. What could theoretically happen in 2026 is, again, DOT spending some more time below this area over here, which is at around $1.50. and essentially finding some sort of a macro support at under $1 level. Again, if this lower high, lower low structure, again in 2022-2023 bull bear market as well, the lows for DOT kept on coming. So there weren't any point in that bear market where DOT started holding the lows in 2020 that it set in 2022. The macro low, if you were to call it a macro low, came in late October 2023, which again held till about this drop over here in 2025, where price action made a new low in a bull market year, which again quite quite unusual for an asset to do, especially in a bull market year for Bitcoin and other major cryptos. So the lows were challenged in this bull market year itself at around $4, and now the price action is more than 50% down from that level, from that $4 level. So it would take some getting back to the it would some sort of a micro or some sort of a mini miracle for DOT to get from back from these low structure and then recover to that $4 level first in, let's say, bear market year, towards the end of bear market year or recovery year 2027. It's right now not looking that great, but if it, let's say, by some sort of a stroke of luck, where if DOT were to overhaul the downturn, first levels DOT would need to reach, again not financial advice, is this this yellow line over here, which held as a resistance in 2025. You can see in May 2025 price action could not go to that one standard deviation overvaluation residual, or that yellow line acted as a resistance. Again, the last time it breached was in that alt season, which occurred in 2024 December itself, not in 2025. So that's the one area. Again, this valuation is also rapidly deteriorating. What it could do, again, this is again instead of using a polynomial regression based downturn in the extrapolation, what we do is in this model identifying the uptrend using diminished volatility and standard deviation based residuals to identify where the ceiling for DOT could be in the next potential bull run. Again, this is as of the data that is available for DOT as of today. The lowest it can go is 62 cents in this bear market, and then from that the 2 standard deviation euphoria ceiling for DOT is at around $4 and $4.70, which is roughly 2.5x of the current price. Coming to the summary risk for accumulation of DOT, again, all of these moving average, the 200 week, the 100 week, and 20 week simple moving average, price action is well below all of these averages. That means, again, the normalized risk, if you were to ignore these individual averages, the normalized risk is fairly low at this point. But again, the bottom predictor is not quite in for DOT. The time weighted average price model you can see that this blue line, which is the time weighted average price, essentially acting as a gravity of time based analysis. Again, but for assets which only go down with time, accumulating below the time weighted average price does not make much of a sense. It's only a valuable model if assets have a proclivity to making new all-time high from cycle to cycle. In 2021, the price action for DOT peaked at $52. This time around, the peak came at around $13, and also that was a momentary bull market. It wasn't like months to quarters. The uptrend lasted from October 2023 till about March 2024, and then again series of down only months, and then one final euphoria ceiling in December 2024. So time weighted average price did not even come into the picture in the euphoria phases for DOT. So that's where the price action kind of trailed off. The DCA model also establishes a similar story, again accumulating below the 0.1 risk level also for DOT has not been a guarantee that again that the price action won't go down from that level, but again accumulating whenever it's in this purple color at least presents a shorter term play where there is at least one counter trend rally from that point, like DOT enjoyed from that $1.25 to now at around $1.70 in February 2026. So DOT did present that kind of a level early on in February, but again in 2026 I would imagine there would be more of similar levels for accumulation. The SMA model has not triggered that buy zone. Again, it's very unlikely that this model triggers it. And what would be more interesting is to see if and when, if there is one macro drop where like in 2021 or in 2022 the risk level goes below that 0.120 risk. Has not happened in a while. It would be much harder going forward, as the price action has consistently stayed below the 20-week simple moving average. So but this model did identify the an overvaluation territory in terms of whenever the price action went above 0.4 risk in 2024-2025 time period, it was a good distribution signal. Coming to the machine learning based price analysis for DOT, the recovery, if there is a counter trend recovery, the ceiling for DOT in the next 6 months is at around $2. That undervaluation, if it goes down only in the next 6 months, the support is at around somewhere between 80 cents and $1.30, with a midpoint at around 95 cents, which is again that scenario where the price action could trail off before finding some sort of a major support. So that's DOT. If we were to check an estimated bear market bottom and then conclude on a bullish note, the estimated bear market bottom, the base case is behind us, one could argue. The price action right now is more than 50% away from the base bear case that we had predicted a while ago. That's again just an indicator how worse DOT had performed in 2024-2025. The panic case is about 25% lower than the current price at around $1.15. Price action did go close to $1.25 in February itself, and the worst case scenario for DOT is at around 91 cents, which is about 40% down from the current price. If everything goes well, if let's say by some stroke of luck DOT manages to survive the bear market unscathed, what could be theoretical base case peak for DOT in, let's say, timeline in late 2027 to late 2028 time period, if like 4 years later from that 2024 peak? The base peak forecast for the next potential bullish season for altcoins, that in that environment, if DOT emerges as some sort of a narrative play, in that scenario, the bull peak is, the midpoint of the bull peak is at around $12, which is roughly from here, roughly 8x of the current price. That's on that bullish note. I'd like to conclude by saying, first, bear market for DOT has never ceased, and thanks to that negative price action, the support for DOT in the rest of 2026 could be somewhere between the current price and 80 cents. If the price action were to go to 80 cents and then rally back to $12, that would be more than 15x from that bottom. And with that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and check out all of these charts. They are available on cryptoweeklies.com, link on the bottom of your screen there. This is my own website. You can check out content related to other major assets, social sentiment, word cloud, the summary risk for DOT, how it's compared to other cryptos. Right now the composite risk is low, and similar comparative analysis and indicators such as what's the current news, what are some of the sentiment in the overall sentiment going in the market, how far is the asset class in the bear market, how is the overall market cycle completion again, or we are closer to a reset than a bull market completion. Now it's only 15% risk. When and if it goes sub 10%, that point, this model indicates some sort of an accumulation in the asset class. With that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, hope to see you again tomorrow as well. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.